I knew it was going to be my last time playing it. I'd had a slight gnawing feeling within. I'm sure actually actors always feel this, but that there was something deeper, a little more real, more grey involved, and we wanted to make a film that, yes, is violent, but actually had something to say about violence, because the character is essentially a weapon, a destructive force, built to be that, but in a way has been defined by the humanity, the human side of that, and we really wanted to get to the bottom of it, and for both characters to see what the cost is. What is it like in the winter of their lives? What does that look like?
Patrick, what is it like playing a character who ages on screen over a period of 17 years? You go from being a character who's invincible to embodying so many of those changes that come to all of us with age.
You know, Jeremy, I've been aging on screen or in stage since I was 18. When I was 18, I played an 85-year-old man, so it's nothing new to me. I just got better at it as the years went by. But this was fascinating, principally because Hugh and I have been preparing for this movie for 17 years. We know these characters so well. We know them inside out. And one of the charms of this film is that Charles Xavier also knows Logan's past, where he came from, how damaged he is, how vulnerable he is. But now, Charles is the damaged and vulnerable one. Something has happened that has brought them into a situation that we've never seen them in before. Fragile, needy. Here is not just my friend and my surrogate son, but also my nurse, my carer, my chauffeur. He carries me to bed. He dresses me and undresses me. This is a situation we've never been in, but we have been preparing for it for a long time.
Patrick, Hugh mentions that he knew this would be his last film. Tell us about the moment you decided this would be your last X-Men film.
Well, it was only a few days ago when we were in Berlin and world premiering the movie at the festival there. We watched the movie sitting side by side, and James Mangold, our director, on the other side of Hugh. And the last 5 or 6 minutes of the movie is intensely emotional. Charles's story by then is over, though I can't go into details. And at one point, just a few moments before it ended, Hugh reached over and took my hand. And then I saw his hand go up to his face, and I realized I needed to do the same thing. These two strapping actors, grown men, and we were sitting shedding a tear at our own movie. Then they ran the credits, and we had to wait until all the credits had run. During that time, the realization came to me that, like Hugh, there could be no more perfect way, no more appropriate way to say goodbye to Charles Xavier than what I had just watched.
Patrick, the X-Men franchise is set very much in a world of make-believe, and it's remarkable how poignant some of these decades-old Marvel themes have become in recent times in the current global political climate. Does that surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me at all, because initially these were very much escapist movies, taking you out of your life, taking you out of your world and society, and showing you something fantastic. They are called fantasy movies, after all. This is much more than science fiction. But there's one thing that has always distinguished the X-Men Wolverine franchise, and that is that superpowers included. These are human beings. All of the X-Men that we've ever met, going back to 1998, 99, are real and recognizable people. And this has all come together, I think, brilliantly in this last movie. It is first and foremost a movie about human beings who happen to have superpowers.
The original comic book was an allegory for the civil rights movement. Charles Xavier, Patrick's character being Martin Luther King, and Ian McKellen's character Magneto being Malcolm X. It was there. Bryan Singer in 2000 opened X-Men filming in a concentration camp, in Second World War. So there was a statement there, but I've got to tell you, 2 years ago, when I saw a first treatment, there was talk of a border wall. And about a year later, as the primaries were happening, I was like, I think someone's leaked our script because, but that's, I think, when you know you're on the right track. Great filmmaker like James Mangold, he does have things he wants to say. Yes, it's a deeply personal story about family and how difficult it is sometimes to connect and to love. But we set ourselves in a world where there is a similar, pull. Do we close down and just look after our own, or do we open up to the world?
And there is a theme in this movie which could not have been predicted as being so pertinent as it is now. The three principal characters have one overriding objective in this film: to reach a border, to cross it into safety. And as we speak, there are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people whose only hope, whose only chance of survival is to reach a border and to cross it to safety. So suddenly our film has become extraordinarily relevant.